Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Antonio, who's ready for some fighting words. In this video, I want to do a fight breakdown for Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time right now to hit that subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. Also, if you could, hit that thumbs up button. It really does help support the channel. And without further ado, let's jump into this. So if you're going to mention Ryan Garcia, the first thing you have to mention is the speed force, the speed factor. Anybody who's familiar with the Flash knows the speed force. But Ryan Garcia is extremely fast. Okay, I think he's one of the fastest guys, definitely at 140 now. Moving back down because the fight's going to be at 136. I think him and Gervonta Tank Davis are going to be like even. And hear me when I say this. They are either even in speed, or I believe Ryan Garcia is faster. Okay, so that's going to be a very important factor in this fight. And it's funny because it lets you really know how fast Ryan Garcia is coming from a lower weight, and his fastest punch to date was at 140. So him losing that extra weight, he might actually be even faster for this fight, which is scary for Gervonta Tank Davis. So that's his speed. Let's see. Ryan Garcia is he's a fast starter. That's another thing that I think is going to be a little bit of an adjustment. Not a little bit. I think a lot of an adjustment for Gervonta Tank Davis. He's a fast starter. He's not the type of guy who's going to get, warmed up round after round after round, and then by the 5th round, he's ready, locked and loaded and ready to go. He's going to get started pretty early. Okay, he's going to be throwing heat pretty early. He's going to be throwing fast. Very accurate fighter. That's another thing. His accuracy. And it's funny because when you listen to Gervonta Tank Davis, he's like, well, you don't have a whole lot of weapons. You don't have to have a whole lot of weapons when you're really fast and you hit really hard and you're extremely accurate. You don't have to have a whole lot of weapons. Do you fear the guy on the front line more than the guy who's in the 300-400 yards out sniping? I fear that dude more. Okay? Because he's accurate. He's accurate. That's what I fear. I fear that guy a lot more than the guy in front of me charging, with his bayonet or whatever the heck. I fear that guy a lot more in the brush. So here's the thing when it comes to Ryan Garcia. He uses simple attacks. So Gervonta Tank Davis, listen, I'm not going to lie. He was right when he says that Ryan Garcia, he's a basic fighter. But once a guy has like 200, over 100 amateur matches, I wouldn't necessarily refer to him as a basic. I think his level of competition that he's faced maybe a little questionable, but I still wouldn't call him basic. I think Ryan Garcia is very simple in his approach, and I think that he works on the things that he does well. And some people work on adding to the arsenal, while some people just work on being better with the weapon of choice that they have already. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think that's how Ryan Garcia operates. And I think that's how the Ryan Garcia machine has been operating thus far. Well, you do this well, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna make it even better. We're gonna put a laser beam on top of that thing. We're just gonna really build that particular weapon up, as opposed to somebody like a Tank. I think what they've been doing over the years is they've been adding weapons to the arsenal, which, depending on the personality type, depending on the person's ability to learn, depending on their particular fight style, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing depending on the individual. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. So like I said, he has very simple attacks, great reflexes. Here's the thing. Ryan Garcia is, like I said, simple, but there's certain punches that they're just his go-to. You definitely going to see them, and you're going to see them a lot throughout the fight. So his jab is more of a rangefinder and a posting. It's fast. It's fast, and obviously he's got pop in his punches, but he uses it more so for a rangefinder and also to post guys up. He has very long arms. He can cover a lot of distance with that hand. It's his two that's the problem. His two is going to come like a rocket. and it's going to explode like a rocket. It's the two you need to worry about. His jab is just there to find you and kind of keep you there momentarily until that two can find its way to your chin. That's what that's for. Let's see. Ryan is great at closing distance. I don't think he has the best legs in the world. I'm not saying that. But I think he's good at closing distance. I think he's tall. I think he understands his frame. And a lot of people do not understand their body type. And that sometimes is the reason why people end up fighting in styles that they probably shouldn't be fighting in, because they don't understand their body types. You know, when I look at somebody like a Deontay Wilder, listen, I get it, you hit hard, but I don't know why you're the one always pressing. I think you should be on the back foot and let somebody press into you, and then you can fire that thing off. I think you'd be even more effective. That's what I think. I really don't know why he's always pressing the fight. And then when you look at a Ryan Garcia, he's an aggressive guy. But, you know, like, I think people get caught up on his looks or whatever, his popularity, you know, his Instagram following and all that. But he's actually a very aggressive fighter. And he's not shy to lay into a guy. He's going to track you down. Like I said, he's a fast starter. And most guys don't start that fast. Most guys like that feeling out, period. And Ryan Garcia, you know, to an extent, there's a feeling out. But once he's ready to go, he's ready to go. Let's see. Ryan Garcia has a very underrated and very, very sneaky liver shot. I mean, he just sinks that thing right in. And he can do that standing perfectly up, as opposed to most people who do that liver shot. You know, they want to wind up into that thing and then dig with it. But he can actually do it in his stance, post it up, and then just dig that thing right in and still be perfectly in line with his opponent. And it works. I have yet to see him throw that liver shot, and it has not been effective. I think that's due to a few things. One, he doesn't throw it a whole lot, so you're not going to see it coming. Two, because he is perfectly upright, and that hook is coming just really fast, but on top of that, it looks like a hook until he curves it into a shovel hook. And there's a difference between hitting somebody like this and hitting somebody like this. And a lot of guys just don't see it coming. And it's a very sneaky punch. And a lot of times, especially if he uses it early, he won't necessarily capitalize on it in the sense that you would think somebody would capitalize on it. Because if you give somebody a shovel hook, you might even go to the other side and dig it in again, or just double up on the shovel hook, or possibly transition it into a hook on that same side. And he won't do that. He'll just go right back upstairs. Because when it comes to Ryan Garcia, like I said, the punches are coming fast and they are heavy, but they are also about just investing. You know, Ryan Garcia would more so like to just do a headshot, you know, like just clip the head. But he understands that you got to put something downstairs. And although he doesn't put a whole lot downstairs and he's not a consistent body puncher, he invests enough with sharp punches, sharp, crisp punches that you don't see coming. Those are the ones that are going to hurt you. Let's see. Ryan also has a very, very, very lethal overhand. And he doesn't necessarily use the overhand the way a lot of people use it. He uses it mainly as a counter for the most part. It's a counter move. Obviously, you know, if he's going to finish a guy, he'll throw that overhand. But for the most part, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, it's a counter move for him. You know, he'll just throw it over. And that's the thing. I feel like the punches that are money shots for other people, he doesn't treat them necessarily like money shots. I think all his shot selection would be considered to him a money shot because, once again, he doesn't have the biggest arsenal of weapons. That's why they would be considered money shots. Let's see. Listen, Tank's going to have his hands full, hands down. I mean, when we talk about speed, we talk about power. Also, the height of Ryan Garcia. Ryan doesn't understand distance really well, and he's growing in that as well because you can see the progression in him when it comes to distance. Let's see. Contrary to what people say or think, This match is not going to be some 1-2-3 walk in the park. I feel like people think that Ryan Garcia is going to get clipped and then he's going to change in character. He's going to be a little bit more placid or timid in the fight. And the one thing that the Luke Campbell fight showed me was that Ryan Garcia has a real dog in him. That's what it showed me. There's a dog in there. Don't be confused by anything else. There's a dog in there. And if you think that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to put his hands on Ryan Garcia and Ryan Garcia is going to tuck tail and run for the hills, you are out of your mind. I don't feel like enough people talk about what transpired in the Luke Campbell fight. So basically, Luke puts Ryan Garcia down, and that was more so on the fact that Ryan Garcia has, at least in that fight, had poor defense. His defense was trash. I mean, he literally was doing this, so that was the reason why that punch got through. It's funny. Gervonta Tank Davis said, I don't even think Luke Campbell thought that punch was going to land. Now, whether he did or didn't, I mean, I kind of agree with him in a sense if you look at the sequence that what led to the punch and everything like that. But what's more important to me is how Ryan Garcia reacted after hitting the canvas. Not only did he get back up, but he got back up with all his faculties and he was ready to go. He was ready to roll. So what does that tell me? He recovers quickly. What does that tell me? He knows how to talk to himself within the moment. And what does that tell me? He's not a coward. He's not what people portray him as, and he's ready to rock and roll. That's what that told me in that moment. And what happened after that? Ryan Garcia chased Luke Campbell down. Ryan Garcia was the wolf, and Luke Campbell turned into a sheep. That's what happens. So if you think that Gervonta Tank Davis is just going to clip Ryan Garcia and this marketing sensation called Ryan Garcia is just going to float away into thin air, you have another thing coming. I don't think that is going to happen in the least bit. Do I think that there will be more than one knockdown in this fight? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do I think that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to have to dig a lot deeper than he ever has, even more so than the Pitbull fight? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do I think it's a possibility that Ryan Garcia is going to drop Gervonta Tank Davis? And I'm saying it first. Yeah, I do. I do. I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm just saying I feel strongly that he's going to drop him for the first time. Yeah, I do. I really do. Let's see. So Tank, in my opinion, sometimes is a little too patient. And, because Tank he's a real boxer. Tank likes the setup. Tank chooses the right punch. Tank is a lot like Floyd Mayweather in that sense. He will choose the punch, he will choose the setup, and he will choose the location. And he's willing to wait to get all three at one time in the right place. With Ryan Garcia, I believe the pace is going to be fast. I don't think he's going to have... So, all right, let me word it like this. I think the fight will resemble, to an extent, the Rolly fight, but without the lack of caution of Rolly. Ryan Garcia is not a slouch, and he's definitely not some daring charge on in type of guy. He's not that. He's a cautious fighter. I said he starts fast, and yeah, he hits hard, and yeah, he's fast, but he's not a nutcase who's just going to run on in guns a-blazing. He doesn't do that either. Rolly would do that. So why do I say the fight's going to resemble the Rolly fight? Because Ryan's bigger, because Ryan believes in his power like Rolly. And when you look at the actual size and stature of both fighters in the ring, in front of each other, it's going to look a lot like the Rolly fight. I also believe it's going to be Ryan who will be pressing Tank and not the other way around. That's why I think it's going to look like the Rolly fight. What's going to differ from the Rolly fight, I just said it, is Ryan won't be as big a sucker for the bait as Rolly was. That's the difference. Rolly was a sucker for the bait because Rolly knew he was bigger, because Rolly knew he hit hard. But he was a sucker for the bait. Ryan won't be a sucker for the bait. That's the issue here. So when you're talking about the patience of Gervonta Tank Davis, and you're talking about, yeah, all right, I could lure Ryan in. Yeah, I could lure him in. That don't mean he'll bite. That doesn't mean he'll bite. You can lure him in. That doesn't mean he'll bite. And remember, he's taller than you. Remember, he fights at a distance. Like, he can keep the distance. I truly believe it'll be Ryan walking Tank down. And I think that's how Tank would prefer it. Especially, because I believe Tank likes fighting taller guys. So that's going to be the overall difference. Let's see. I think what's going to be a problem for Tank as well, fighting Ryan Garcia, is I think Tank is going to, not to say that Tank has never fought somebody who hit hard, but I think the combination of the speed and the power. Rolly definitely hit hard. Rolly looked like a full-on welterweight when they fought. But the difference is the speed factor. The difference is the subtleties of the punch. The difference is Rolly throwing a punch from all the way back here and Ryan Garcia throwing it from here. That's the difference. Milliseconds. That's the difference. Let's see. So here's another thing that does have me a little concerned when it comes to Tank. Tank is already a short fighter, but he also fights very low. Why? Because he's so explosive. You know, he likes to explode up, and he likes to just lunge a lot of times. Now, what worries me about that is, again, Ryan Garcia, that check hook of his, that left hook, it's something serious. And I think he's more than quick enough to catch Tank mid-air, mid-explosion. That's what I think. And Ryan Garcia, it's not that he's just fast. He's great timing. Listen, when you have an individual who's fast and has great timing at the same time, that's a problem. That's a big problem for anybody, okay? Because at any given time in the fight, that person is still dangerous. So that's a problem. And I think with Tank exploding up, I think Ryan could just check off at any given time. That's the reason why I keep seeing Tank get dropped in my head. That's the reason. I'm telling you now, that's the reason. Now, whether or not Tank has the chin that he claims he has, he'll get up. You know, and then we can see the dog in him. But that's what I keep seeing in my head. I'm not saying it's a finishing blow, but how he responds will lead to either a victory or a loss, or an amazing, amazing fight after that. That's what I think. I kind of feel like it will more or less just piss him off. That's what I think. Let's see. But it could do that to him, but it also mean night-night. Because so many other guys, it's meant night-night. So I don't think he's invincible, you know, and the way they've marketed Gervonta Tank Davis is that he's invincible and anybody can be clipped. I don't care who you are. Evander Holyfield has gone down. Muhammad Ali has gone down. Mike Tyson has gone down. The great Lennox Lewis has gone down. I don't care who you are. You can be clipped, period. Let's see. I got a lot of notes, people. So let's see. What does Ryan do wrong? Because listen, I talked about the positives. I got to mention things that are a little worrisome. The head. Ryan refuses to protect his chin. Like, he just won't do it. Like, he's just like right here. He just will not do it. He doesn't bring it here. He brings it right here. And that's an English style. I don't know if a lot of people are like, it's an English way. Like, an American way is to come here. And an English way is to have it all the way out here. I've tried both ways. I personally, it depends. And I think it depends on how fast you are. You know, now, if you're not the fastest person in the world, maybe you should have it here. But if you are fast and you're a very loose person, then okay, you can afford to do something like this. It just really depends. Ryan Garcia is more of this type of guy. However, it's his chin. He doesn't protect it. And it's just like this. He doesn't do this. He does this. And that's, what worries me. Gervonta Tank Davis has an amazing uppercut. All right. And he also has that lunging overhand. That could be a problem, because it's right there. You're not even protecting it. It's literally just right there. Let's see. Just his head is upright. Now, unless Ryan is going forward, his footwork is a little suspect, which is another reason why Ryan has to be the aggressor in this fight. He has to be the aggressor in this fight. If he is not the aggressor in this fight, he's going to put himself at a serious disadvantage. I've seen him stumble a few times going backwards. He's not the best going backwards, and he definitely isn't very, if any, offensive going backwards. So Ryan at his best needs to go forward. If you know, I would suggest, or just running drills with him, to just angle off, because going backwards, it's like he just doesn't really know what to do. You know, and the only thing that clicks in when he's going backwards is to be defensive. And we've seen in the past that his defense can sometimes turn into, you know, trouble overload. You know, that big red button flashing or something like that where there's danger. And his defenses don't always end up like this or like this. Sometimes they end up like this. He'll stick his hands out. And I've seen that with a lot of guys, who, especially guys who are taller or lanky. They can get away with that. But like I said, Gervonta Tank Davis, if he has a particular punch in mind, or if he thinks he has the punch that's going to end you, and if he's already seen the sequence in his mind, even if you were doing something like that, I still think he can easily get in your defenses. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. So I think, let's see. Like I said, Ryan Garcia has this thing where he's aggressive. All right. Ryan Garcia also has this thing where he's a very fast starter, and he keeps a certain tempo. Okay. Gervonta Tank Davis is really good at playing possum. He's good at it. He's good at it. That's what beat Rolly. The mind games in there. The subtleties. It's the subtle things. That's the reason why Tank is saying I have a higher IQ than you. Because it's subtle things. It's the things that, unless you've been in a ring, you won't be able to see. You won't know what he's talking about. But that's why Tank said it's not that Rolly is a bad fighter. He's a stupid fighter, because he doesn't see the subtleties that are before him. That's what he's talking about. And one of those subtleties are Gervonta Tank Davis playing possum. And he can give off an impression that he's fearful. He can give off an impression that he's hurt. You know, when he's backing up, and he's just doing these, you know, just enough of those feints to get his guy thinking. But it can pause them as well. So when you're playing possum, your opponent can think, all right, well, maybe I have him hurt, or maybe I have him scared. All right. But also with those feints, the opponent can sometimes just freeze up because he doesn't know what's coming at him. I'm the one doing doing the walking down, and now I have to stop momentarily to figure out exactly what I'm going to do again, because you seem like you're getting ready to do something back. So now I got to think again. And again, with that pausing and those slight little subtleties, that can get Ryan Garcia into a lot of trouble, because the way he fights, again, he's a simplistic fighter. So you hit, I hit. He's more of a sequence type of fighter. You give me something, I give you something. That's kind of how it works. Let's see. Okay. Overall, I think Ryan Garcia has all the tools to beat Tank. Ryan didn't take a tune-up, and I should tell you something. That Ryan didn't take a tune-up because he believes in himself. That's why he didn't take a tune-up. He believes in himself. That's why he didn't take the tune-up. Listen, I see something in you that I can defeat. I see something in you that I can beat. And it's there. It doesn't matter who else believes it. I believe it. I believe it. That's all that matters. I believe it. I see it. I see the sequence playing in my mind. I see this video in my mind rolling out every night before I go to bed. I have the dreams every night, and I see it, and that's what's important. And I see it so much that I'm starting to believe it, and my confidence is growing. That's a problem for Gervonta Tank Davis, because the aura of Gervonta Tank Davis is not clouding the mind of Ryan Garcia, and that's a problem. Let's see. You have somebody who's just as fast or faster. in Ryan Garcia. You have somebody who hits hard, or maybe your level of power, or possibly more, That's a problem. Let's see. Here's another thing. Everybody keeps talking about Gervonta Davis. He's around Floyd Mayweather. And that's true. He has been around Floyd Mayweather. He's had the tutelage of the Mayweathers. And that says a lot. However, you keep forgetting that Ryan Garcia is under Golden Boy Promotions. You think that Ryan Garcia is under nobody's? Ryan Garcia was in the same stable with Canelo Alvarez, arguably the best fighter on the planet right now. You know, at least in the top 5. All right. At least in the top 5. Hands down. Okay. And that team was watching over Ryan Garcia. But even outside of that, he's been under Oscar De La Hoya. I think people forget how good Oscar De La Hoya actually was as a fighter. Whatever you want to say about him in fishnets, whatever you want to say about him and his drug use, whatever you want to say about him as a promoter, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter. He was a smart, intelligent, hard-hitting threat to anybody, a champion through and through as a fighter, somebody to be respected and feared at the same time as a fighter. But it doesn't stop there, people. We also have Bernard Hopkins, B-Hop, the alien, who's also in his life, in his corner, and rooting for him, and giving him little additives here and there. Are you kidding me? All right? Bernard Hopkins fought Roy Jones twice. And the first time, it wasn't like Roy Jones shut him out. Everybody who saw that fight, including myself, will admit that looked more like a sparring match than anything, because it wasn't like Roy shut Bernard Hopkins down. Are you kidding me? So yeah, okay, you've been under Floyd Mayweather, and that's true. But look who I've been with. I've been with Canelo. I've been with Canelo's team. I've been around Oscar De La Hoya. I've been around Bernard Hopkins. Are you kidding me? That's a lot. You have a lot of great stuff over there and a lot of knowledge over there, but guess what? I got a lot over here as well. Okay, so we're even in that department. Nice try, but we're even. Let's see. In my eyes, this fight is 50-50. I really do believe that. I think this is a 50-50 fight. I think Ryan Garcia, more than like I just said, has the tools to defeat Gervonta Tank Davis. And that's basically it for this fight breakdown. As always, please like, please share, and please subscribe to this here channel.